whereof I was made a minister, according to the gift of grace of God given unto me by the effectual working of his power. Unto me, who am less than the least of all saints, is this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Hamashiach, and to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from the beginning of the world have been hid in God, who created all things by Yahshua Hamashiach, to the intent that now unto the principalities and powers in heavenly places might be known by the synagogue the manifold wisdom of God, according to the eternal purpose which he purposed in the Messiah Yahshua our Lord, in whom we have boldness and access with confidence by the faith of him. That's why we sit back looking at to have that confidence and boldness by the faith that's in the Son of God, right? But let's turn around and let's look at Galatians chapter 5 and what we got to deal with. Galatians chapter 5 and about verse 22. Okay, we'll start at verse 16 again and walk it all the way down. Last couple of days we've been looking at the works of the flesh and notice that all those things contrary to the will of God get you cut off, right? So let's look at verse 16 of Galatians chapter 5 then. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that ye would. But if you be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revilings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I've told you in time past, that they that do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are the Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. I'm going to show y'all something about these things where it references Spirit. Revelation chapter 3 verse 1. Leah, sit down somewhere. Something that we done looked at before, we're going to revisit. Thank you, Stankers. Revelation chapter 3 verse 1. So he said that we ought to walk in the Spirit, right? After we look at Revelation 3 and 1, Isaiah chapter 11. And unto the angel of the synagogue in Sardis write, these things saith he that hath the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I know thy works, that thou hast a name, that thou live and art dead. Now we've talked about that once before. All right, Kingston, suck it up. I'm talking about you looking like nigga done shot you. Took your lunch money. Everything. That's right. Keep it on the inside. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Man, we done looked at that before. I appreciate that too. When we said that thou has, y'all remember we talked about that? That you got a name and you live but you dead. You know what I'm saying? Being without this man's spirit, you actually dead. So now we sitting back and looking at something. If these are the 7 spirits, anybody remember what them 7 spirits is? I mean, we finna go look at them. But does anybody remember? Well, let's see. That's one of them. Isaiah 11. Isaiah 11 and 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Usually, if it's a branch, what do branches end up doing? They end up sprouting, right? Because now we're dealing with fruits of the Spirit, like I say, because it's got Corey Allen, because he's an agriculturist. Majored in it, he say. Say they gave him a degree for it, so I mean he's supposed to really know what he's doing. Supposed to. That's what they say. Say you passed all the requirements, you're supposed to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And the Spirit of Yah shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yah. and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yah. He shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither shall reprove after the hearing of his ears. So if he's got the spirit of wisdom, what spirit does he have? Because what is with it? He got the fear of God in him. So that if he got the fear of God in him, that means he had. Look, I want you to look at Malachi chapter 1. So we're going to deal with one of them things. What's one of the things we seen, fruit of the Spirit? One of them was love, right? After we look at Malachi chapter 1, we're going to look at Hebrews chapter 12. The only way these things are going to be able to manifest first, and we'll have to look at that too, is you're going to have to die. You know what I'm saying? We done looked at this stuff before. We just never went and dissected to see examples of this stuff in the book of Galatians of each one of these fruits. These things are evidence of the Spirit. It's evidence that you have perished. You know what I'm saying? Malachi chapter 1. What the niggas in here, man? Somebody smelled something like this. What somebody did? Warm something up? I smell some manner of food. What you niggas in here? You right over there eating?
You must be hungry.
No, you know I ain't never hungry. I don't either. Malachi 1:6. A son honor his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where's my honor? And if I be a master, where's my fear, saith Yah of hosts? Unto you, O priests that despise my name, and ye say, wherein have we despised thy name? So hold on before we look at Hebrews chapter 12. He said, if I be a master, where's my fear, right? Luke chapter 6, verse 40, about 44. Let me see what 44 is.
Hey, shut up.
Luke 6, about 44. Thank the Lord. Make it 43. Luke 6 and 43. For a good tree bring not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So guess what? There's no way you can sit back and say that you righteous and bring forth the fruits of that tree which you say you branch off of. See, hold on. Hold what you got, John chapter 15. John chapter 15. He said a corrupt tree can't bring forth good fruit, and a good tree can't bring forth corrupt fruit. So which epistle letter to come to your mind if a good tree can't bring forth corrupt fruit? What should come to your mind when you hear that? There you go. He that is born of God do not commit sin. He cannot sin because he's born of God. No, that's right. There you go. Look at God like that. Look at it. He said he was ready. That's what he said. I heard it.
You said the one with the tree.
And then he hating on the man. I'm talking about hate.
I'm just saying, man.
I'm talking about all he want to do is hear Dave Chappelle. Hate.
How's that hating, bro? I wasn't going to say that.
He hating.
No, nigga said tree, bro. I heard him say tree.
I said what would come to mind?
He said the one with the tree. And then you went and... Yeah, exactly.
He was right. You hate.
I didn't hear any type of cursed tree in that.
I didn't say nothing about no cursed tree.
That's 3 you talking about.
I said if he say a corrupt tree can't bring forth, a good tree can't bring forth corrupt fruit, what come to your mind?
He said,
he that born of God do not commit sin.
That's not what he said. That's what I'm trying to get you on.
He cursed the tree.
The one he cursed
y'all
the
sure
tree.
cursed the tree?
Oh no, you were wrong.
See, exactly.
He said John for John. No, that wasn't what we were looking for.
Oh, dang.
But that's also the same.
That was the war for you, man.
But that's also according to the same thing. When he cursed the fig tree because it didn't bring forth no fruit, that's the reverse. Because if you corrupt, he cursed that fig tree because he didn't bring forth no fruit. That's the same way. If you not bringing forth the fruits of righteousness, meaning that seed fell in good ground and died, he gonna curse you too.
No, in essence, he'll still right. But
That wasn't what we were.
yeah.
Just like they don't do your own family food or Jeopardy when they hit the judges. Is that acceptable? I'm sorry, we can't accept that answer. John chapter 15, verse 1. Hey, I tried. I thought you said something else. Like I said, I went to war for you. Guess what? Both of you niggas got shot.
I know. I heard a nigga say tree, and you said nothing that pertained to a tree. I was like, he's like, look at Glove. I was like, hold up, this nigga didn't say tree.
And then he gonna call him out. A nigga hard as concrete. John 15 and 1.
Okay, cool.
No, you good.
No, you got it right though.
Yeah, you right.
He said, I am the true vine. My Father is the husband. Listen what he tell you. Every branch in me that bear not fruit, he take away. And every branch that bear fruit, he purge it, that it might bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except you abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abide in me and I in him, the same bring forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. Come on back to Luke chapter 6. So if you abide in the Son, how you going to be committing sin? That means you would have to do the same thing the Son did. That means you would have to die and he died. That means you would have to be made conformable unto his death. And if you made conformable unto his death, then you would be made like unto his resurrection. I tell you now, Hebrew Israelites love to scream fruits of the Spirit, fruits of the Spirit. But like I say though, you got to look at what the man said now. To get fruit, something got to happen. That means a seed got to be planted. Then that seed got to be watered. And then that seed got to die. And then once it dies, then it brings forth fruit. If it does not die, there will be no fruit. Therefore, you will not get what you're looking after. It's simple as that. That's why he used that analogy of fruits. Now come on back to Luke chapter 6, verse 43 again. We are clapping our hands, clapping our feet, ready for it. She wants you like this here. I'm ready. And Lizzie like this here. Chef. For a good tree bring not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Listen to what he said. Every tree is known by his fruit. For of thorns men do gather figs, nor a bramble bush gather they grapes. So that's it back and tell you. You ain't going to look for no grapes out no thorn. What happened? You go find them thorns. You get pricked. He said you definitely ain't trying to, you ain't going to no bramble bush to get no grape. What the same thing gonna happen? You gonna get pricked, right? Hold what you got, Joshua chapter 23. It go right along with what I was talking to you about before like this here. You talking about you coming through on the Sabbath, but you coming to see your people. So you going to look for some, you trying to find some fruit on some thorns in a bramble bush. Finna get pricked. Joshua chapter 23 by verse 11.
Hey.
Joshua chapter 23 verse 11. Take good heed therefore unto yourselves that ye love Yah your Elohim. Else if you do any wise, listen what he said, else if you do any wise, go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you. Know for a certainty that Yah your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from off this good land which Yah thy God hath given you. And behold, this day I'm going the way of all the earth, and you know in all your heart and all your souls that not one thing hath failed of all the good things which Yah your God spake concerning you. All are come to pass unto you, and not one thing hath failed. Matthew 5 and 17. You already told you. He said, keep going back cleaving to these people. They're going to be thorns. So when somebody come looking for you, guess what? They're going to get pricked. Because you ain't bringing forth no fruit. How you going to be bringing forth fruit? Cleaving back to the remnant of the people who bringing forth corrupt fruit. So that means you going back to look for fruit. I'm finding thorns. You know what happened? You get pricked by them thorns. You be pretty upset. And you know what you end up doing to that tree when you get pricked by it? I got to cut that thing down. I'm going to burn it once. Matthew 5:17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I come not to destroy, but to fulfill. For truly I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Same thing Joshua just told me. So the first Joshua come back around and tell you, and the second one say the same thing. Say, guess what, man? Ain't none of this stuff gonna fail. Every single solitary thing that man told you, it's gonna happen. Ain't none of it fail. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. So don't we sit back, how many times do we sit back and look at the things that happened to the Messiah? He say, and this was done that the scripture might be fulfilled. Because not one thing gonna fail. Ain't nothing this man told you was gonna fail. All right, listen. That face. When that food gone. Good. Luke chapter 6 again. She's like, I can't believe this nigga took that bag. Luke chapter 6, verse 45. He said, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart bring forth that which is good. And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bring forth that which is evil. For the abundance of the heart, his mouth speak. We gonna sit back and we're not gonna actually go read. You sit back and look at David. He was a good man before y'all. Man like unto his own, a man after his own heart. Everything that David came out of his mouth, it was good before y'all. But you know, Saul tried to make himself seem good before y'all. But the abundance of his heart, his mouth spake, because he was always trying to kill him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no righteousness coming out Saul's mouth. I always say out of the abundance of a man's heart, that a good man out of good treasure of his heart bring forth good things. You sit back and look at it, Yahshua had the treasure. Out of his heart came the word. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the scribes, what came out of their heart? Corrupt fruit. Evil things. They never had anything good. They were putting burdens on men which they wouldn't move. But look at verse 46. Because he said, if I be a master, where's my fear, right? Why you call me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? If he be your master, then where is his fear then? Where is your respect and love for what he has to say? See, come on around here. Let's look at Jeremiah chapter 2. Because now we're dealing with one of the first things should be manifested is that you love God. That's why he said that's the first evidence that you done died. We'll look at the parable of the sower in a minute. But let's go over here to Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 1. We definitely don't have to look at that, I suppose. Jeremiah 2 and 1. He said, moreover, the word of Yah came to me, saying, go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus saith Yah, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Israel was Kodesh under Yah, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, saith Yah. He said, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth. The kindness of thy youth. The love of thine espousals when you went after me in the wilderness. So you know that would actually take us back when we were actually in the wilderness, right? Talking about us as a whole, as a people, right? Now it said Israel was set apart to Yah, the first fruits of his increase. We just went past first fruits, didn't we? So if he's going to be the first fruits of his increase, we know this pertains to something else, right? Now what we done looked at in time past in 2 Kings 19, we done looked at it about 3-4 different ways. Y'all remember what's in 2 Kings 19? You remember? Well, let's look and see what's in 2 Kings 19. And we'll deal with the love of what happened? We look at the love of thine espousals when you went after in a land that was not sown. What you think that would mean in a land that's not sown? That means this land ain't been tilled or worked yet, has it? Matter of fact, before we look at a land that wasn't sown, Genesis chapter 2. Say it had been worked yet. This land wasn't sown, so you went after me. Genesis chapter 2 first. Pick me up about verse 8. Let's start there first. After Genesis chapter 2, we get 2 Kings 19. Look at this nigga here. Look at this nigga here. Look at it. 2 and 9. 2 and 8.
Baby mama. Look at him.
I'll tell you. No, I don't want like this. Don't need this nigga posing with his hand laying on his belly. Don't need no neo poses.
Ain't say no Ray poses?
Oh, not the Ray pose.
Oh, man.
Oh, that nigga just slayed you back though. That nigga say he still ain't forgot that profile picture you laying on your belly. Say, I'm telling y'all right now, no grown man got no business taking no selfie laying on his belly. Also, no grown man.
Look like he plugged his hair.
Oh boy. And also, no, yeah, it's rough. And no grown man. And no grown man got no business with no selfie stick. I can't and one of you niggas with a selfie stick, bro. I'm telling you.
Like this,
I'm telling you. I'm clowning on sight. I wouldn't care. You could be with your mama. Be with your wife or your kids. I see you holding a selfie stick. Boy, I'm talking about, I'm clowning. Nigga, you better have a woman hold it. You better not hold it. And you better not be talking about, it's mine. What? You bought a selfie stick? A man? Hey, man, y'all women. Hey, man, nigga expect y'all to have a selfie stick. Yeah, that made for women. That is not a product for men. I can't say that you would be sinning against God if you own one, but you definitely broke numerous man laws. That's real. I'm not going to say you broke y'all's laws. You broke numerous man laws with it. Talking about I got a selfie stick. You know who? We actually know somebody who we grew up with got a selfie stick, and he posted he had one. You know what I'm saying? Fat boy Greg got a selfie stick.
He's suspect anyway. What is it? I ain't even shocking, huh?
No, it's not actually. But he got a selfie stick. I seen that nigga say, and he boasts about it. I'm talking about if you bought one, I wouldn't even tell nobody about it. You know what I'm saying? What? Let one of you niggas pop up with a selfie stick. That's the same. You know what that's borderline doing? Holding your old lady purse. You know what I'm saying? I wish T would talk about holding my purse. That thing going on the floor. I remember one time we was at our house, that time she did it to me, can you hold my purse while I go to the bathroom? I said, sit it right here by the floor. Right here by my feet. Ain't nobody gonna touch it. Well, I sit back looking here in my lap, hold the purse. Number one, you ain't my woman. Number two, that's gay. You know what I'm saying? That's gay. I said, this nigga just sized me. I said, I got a trick for him. I say, put it right here. I say, if a nigga reach down there and get it from by my feet, they deserve to have it. Yeah, that's real now. If you can reach down by my feet and I can't stop you from taking it bag from by my feet, you deserve that person, everything that's in. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you right now. Y'all men, and then one of y'all brothers in here, on this phone, better be sitting there talking about your old lady, come your wife, come tell you hold my purse. Now if I catch you holding her purse, I'm clowning. I'm clowning. Look at this nigga here. Sweet booty nigga here holding purse. This nigga can't be no Jew.
He want the strap on his shoulder.
Can't be no Jew. Talking about I'm just holding it for her. I bet you is just holding it for her. I bet we come to the house right now, we catch your old sweet behind walking around in heels in the house. Tiptoeing. Call that nigga tiptoe. Call that nigga tiptoe. I ain't lying. That's real. Genesis chapter 2 verse 8. I ain't playing about that now. I'm dead serious now. I see you can't hold your white purse. I'm calling you tiptoe. Because I know you got to be in the house trying on slips, putting heels on, might be spraying a perfume on, talking about I thought it was unisex. You know what I'm saying? That nigga tiptoe. Tiptoe. He don't want nobody to know. Walk around here with some flats on, no sweet behind. Carrying a purse. Got a selfie stick. Probably got mantis in the house. Man, that's a real product though. Mantis, yes, man panties. And they call them mantis.
You say Langston on the pedals, you say? Don't try me like that.
I know that right. They say, don't play the type of game now. Don't soak my man.
Everybody got any other response. I'll tell you a suspect.
Make that up.
How did I make that up? No, I didn't make that up.
Oh, no.
That's an actual product.
Don't worry about that.
They're called, the actual name of them is mantis. Mantis, man panties. No, that's Speedos. They're called mantis.
Yeah, straight up.
I ain't know where Speedo is. That's always crazy. You see somebody with some Speedo. It's an old white man who might have been buff at one time. All that stuff gone. He got sagging titties everywhere with some Speedos on. I'm talking about they cutting all of your booty. And he like this here, and it seems like this here, every time they get a picture of them Speedo, them niggas got to be bending over. Like, what's going on? You ain't got no business coming out there swimming like that, sir. Oh yeah, she'll rob you now. Genesis 2 and 8.
This nigga in the gym with some real little shorts on, man.
I already told you that nigga came in the gym with the cutoff. They got compression shorts. You know what I'm saying? I just was in the gym a couple weeks ago. Nigga had the whole compression pants on with nothing over the top of them. Why is you coming in here with them compression? Put some shorts on, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Cause nigga ain't trying to see all that though, man. Then the white boy came in there with the. Then they got like compression drawers. You know what I'm saying? And you'll real see like bodybuilders, they'll work out in them.
Yeah, brother.
It ain't cool, man. The white boy had him on. The t-shirt he had on was longer than the pants he had on. And he got a tattoo of a cross on his thigh. I said, this nigga is gay. Ain't no grown man got no business with no tattoo on his thigh.
He got a thigh tat.
A thigh tat. And showing it off. Because if you get a thigh tat, you know can't nobody see that. So that means you wear move certain shorts on a regular basis to show this. We know we Jews, we don't do tattoos, period. But I'm going to tell you something. In 2 places, ain't no man supposed to get no tattoo at.
Lower back.
Lower back and thigh. And I'm going to say 3, that calf.
That cat.
That calf.
That's not suspect.
Because that's feminine. You know what I'm saying? Nigga got a singular tattoo. It's one thing if you got your whole, you done went all the way out and got your whole leg tatted up. This nigga got 1 tattoo on his thigh.
Yeah.
1 tattoo on his calf.
And then Coach Jones had a little dolphin on his ankle, a spider or something.
Oh, tell nigga like this, like what's going on, sir? They said this big old muscle bound nigga got a dolphin on his leg. Nigga, what's going
He
on?
got a dolphin on his ankle. He didn't leave.
Nigga say, so we know what happened when you went to summer camp.
That nigga was a Boy Scout.
That nigga grabbed his ankles. Cause that ain't cool, man. Niggas like this here, boy, you got a tattoo on your lower back. Nigga say, how a grown man got a tramp stamp? Cause he's a tramp. You know what I'm saying? He said he lady in the tramp and he was the lady and the tramp. You know what I'm saying? There's just certain stuff, man. That's why you thank the Lord for the word. But even without the word, there's some that's not acceptable, sir.
Yeah.
I knew quite a few niggas had tats on their calf. On your calf, man? On your calf. That's almost like a grown man that having a tattoo right here on the back of his shoulder. See, that's women's stuff. That tattoo right there, top shoulder, that's feminine, boy. You gay. You know what I'm saying?
This is one little word.
One little word, that nigga gay, man. Nigga say, nigga blessed you all right. Nigga blessed you all right. I'm just telling y'all, I hope ain't none of you niggas got no just no single. If I run across here and one of you niggas got a single attack, if I catch it, I'm clouded. And you know you're a Jew now, so you can't go try to get no extra to make it look right. I'm clouded.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we can't do this.
Genesis 2:8, man. I'm just telling you the truth, man. I'm clowning. That stuff ain't even right. Say and Yah planted a garden eastward in Eden, and he put the man whom he had formed. Out of the ground made Yah to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that which compassed the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. The name of the second river is Gihon, the same that is it that compassed the whole land of Ethiopia. The name of the third river is Edekel, that is it which goes toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And Yah Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. That means this land wasn't sown then because there wasn't nobody there to work it. I needed a man to till the ground. Y'all do know where the Messiah was called at. Let's look and see in the Bible. John chapter 19. Let me see if that was. Because he said that we went after him in the wilderness, that a land that was not sown. We know the wilderness is sin. So we got to sit back and look at where's this land that wasn't sown. Let me see, John chapter 19, is that what we want? I actually got, there we go. John chapter 18, pardon me, verse 1. Remember where they say that tree of life was? In the midst of the garden, right? John 18:1. And when Yahshua had spoken those words, he went into forth with his disciples over the brook of Cedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered, and his disciples. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place, for Yahshua oft times resorted hither with his disciples. And it said he often went in this garden. I often need to go in this garden because I'm going to need to till it. There's no man to dress it and no man to keep it. You know what I'm saying? I got to come in here and till it and keep it. Because when I come in here and till it and keep it, then there's something else going to happen. Matthew chapter 13. We just hold Jeremiah chapter 2 for reference point. I Like I said, we might not get every fruit of the Spirit, but on some examples, we might can touch more than one. Matthew 13, verse 27, 24, I should say. I'm sorry, make it 18.
Matthew
13 and 18. Make it 16, just for kids. Matthew 13 and 16. No one wants to talk to you right now, Joe. No, no one sits up. No. 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 Oh, you find that humorous, huh? Okay. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Remember how we looked at something last night? They say those, the kings, the things that they had never heard, they would see, and the things they hadn't heard, they would consider. For truly I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hear the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then come the wicked one and catch away that which is sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside. So what can we look at to line up with that? Where can we go at in the scriptures and see somebody who heard the word of the kingdom, understood it not, and the wicked one came and snatched it away? Anybody? Anybody? Huh? That really narrows it down. There's 50 chapters in there.
Chapter 1.
No, it ain't chapter 1.
Hey, girl, you on a roll today.
You was in the right area. Anybody on the phone? Where at it, Genesis? You got to narrow it down now. That's Eve. Let's sit back and look at it. That's Eve. Eve ain't in Genesis chapter 1.
Everybody who put the serpent in the Eve.
She ain't in Genesis chapter 2 either.
She's in 2.
See, I know this stuff.
Yeah, she is in 2. Late. He didn't say chapter 2 though. He said chapter 1. Let's go look at Genesis chapter 3 though. Let's see the word that was sown in her heart. That she didn't understand it not, so the wicked one snatched it away. Because you got to remember, what did we look at last night? The things that were freely given to us of God. We sat and looked at last night that the Lord gave those trees freely to Adam to partake in. He said, but that one there, don't mess with that. The rest of them, that's yours. He said, I've freely given you this. You know what I'm saying? Eve got the same commandment from Adam that Adam got from the Most High. Man say, you eat from there, you surely gonna die. But how else she gonna understand a spiritual concept of death and what he was talking about when you carnal? You know what I'm saying? Remember what we looked at. I can't let you get the tree of life because you got a carnal mind. You can't be carnal and spiritual at the same time. You either going to be spiritual or you're going to be carnal. You can't be both. Genesis chapter, let's look at chapter 3 verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yah Elohim have said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim have said, you shall not eat of it. Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For Elohim doth know in the day that you eat thereof, your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So what did the wicked? Soon as the wicked, because she understood it not, that wicked one came away and snatched it. You know what I'm saying? That's happened. Come on back to Matthew 13. That happened to people all the time. Because you don't really understand what you done heard. Satan come through and snatch away what was sown in your heart. Because what was sown in our heart, I don't want to do this anyway. I think I'm missing something. I already wanted this drink. Man, who using
Purell.
I thought it was the Purell one I was looking for. It smelled like, what you call that stuff? Whiteout.
Whiteout. It smell like straight hand sometimes.
Well, that's what whiteout usually smell like.
No, it don't.
Yeah, do to me. Yeah, I mean, it do to me. Matthew 13 and about verse 20. But he that received the seed in stony places, the same as he that hear the word, and anoint with joy receive it, yet he have no root in himself, but endure for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by he is offended. Who can we sit back and look at when a little suffering came for the word, he got offended? Huh? Now Saul, now you gotta remember, Saul ain't really take no suffering or persecution for the word. Ain't nothing happened to him for that. He was straight out disobedient. Somebody pressing buttons. Pay attention to what you're doing. What you say now? No. Huh?
Yeah.
Cain? No, Cain didn't suffer no persecution for the word either. Job didn't suffer persecution for the word either, what made him quit. Because Job didn't quit. When he say by and by, he say by and by, they receive it with joy when to start at. But when persecution or tribulation come to our the word, they are offended. Peter wasn't offended.
What about Esau?
What about the guy that took the picture?
He was.
It was
Yeah,
Esau.
laugh. Laugh, nigga. Laugh now. Cry later. Homeboy.
He say, remember he say persecution or tribulation. You know what I'm saying? Tribulation. Yeah, Esau is right. Do I just said that? You know, I got somebody else in mind just beside Esau. Well, let's go look at Esau and Genesis 25.
Laugh now, Playboy. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was something just throwing him out. That was the only one I said, Playboy. Say something now. No, I didn't. I didn't say nothing.
I said,
No, Peter didn't. Peter wasn't offended, so to speak.
Laugh now.
You know what I'm talking about? Peter didn't. You know what I'm saying? Peter didn't really understand what he had to deal with when the Lord was trying to tell him. And then him sitting back talking about, I'm going to do this and do that. He going to tell you, oh, all y'all going to, because all the disciples were offended at him. But they fled from him. They didn't quit from the word, though. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't offended by the word. They didn't quit. He say he that fall in the stony place. He say when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by they are offended. So let's look at Genesis 25. Genesis 25 and 26. Or 25. Genesis 25 and 25. He say after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him. The boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Jacob saw it pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. Man, he done came from the field. Seed been sown in stony places, right? He say at the beginning, it's joy for you. You know, boy, I'm the son of Isaac. I know I got a blessing coming to me. He say, but when a little trouble come, you get offended. Let's see what Esau did. Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Somebody got a lot of noise going on, man. Tighten up. And Esau said, behold, I'm at the point to die. What profit shall his birthright do to me? What profit the word gonna do for me? I got a little trouble right now. I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? What it's gonna do for me? So right now, because I'm in a little trouble, I'm offended by this. Because he was angry. Look what he said now, what he ended up doing. Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he swore to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. I'm offended by it. I'm offended by it. And all the things that go along with it. Because the birthright would be the word itself. Now we know on the flip side, the Messiah despised his birthright too by turning away from it to become a man, just to pick it back up later. But by and by, he was offended. Romans chapter 8, verse 34. See, when that little tribulation came, he said, I don't want nothing to do with this. Guess what another place where that happened at? When at the beginning, they received it with joy. When we came out of Egypt, all that stuff, they was all good and happy till he started suffering them to hunger, till they started seeing them giants, and a little persecution and tribulation came, and they were offended. It's better for us to go back to Egypt, where we had cucumbers, leeks, and melons. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, in the beginning, they received it with joy. He killed all the Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? We part of the Red Sea. We out of slavery. But when that persecution came, and when that trouble came, they were offended. They were offended.
8 and 24.
8 and 34. Who is he that condemned? Is it the Messiah that died, yea, rather that is risen again? Who is even at the right hand of God, who also make intercession for us? Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation, See, a little tribulation separated Esau from that birthright or the love of God. It separated him from it. The same thing that separated our ancestors coming out of Egypt. A little trouble caused him to separate. He said, I humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, that a man might know that a man don't live off bread alone, but every word that proceed out the mouth of Yah does man live. He says, a man chasten his son, so do I chasten you. You know what I'm saying? That chastening was actually for them to bring forth fruit. He was trying to sow seeds in the wilderness in a land of drought that it might bring forth fruit. They didn't want to be sold though. So when he dropped that seed in, they said they were offended. It's giants in the land. That's what they said in Deuteronomy 1, number 14, or number 13. It's giants out there, man. What are we going to do with that? Man, he brought us out here in the wilderness to die. Stop, boy, before you fall. Because when you fall, I'm going to laugh at you. And then I'm going to ask you if you're all right. And then once you say yes, I'm going to laugh at you again. Let's look at the next one. He say, or distress. Now, we're going to sit back and look at that with faith with Hananiah and Mishael and Azariah. And with Daniel, when distress came, even with David, when distress came, that did not separate them from the love of God. When a little trouble came, that didn't separate them. He say, or persecution, same thing with Jeremiah when he was persecuted. Did that separate him from the love of God? He man put him in a jailhouse. Say we gonna kill him. Or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. That means you can conquer all these things through him who conquered them himself. You know what I'm saying? So none of these things what these men experienced separated them from the love of God. When Gideon was looking at trouble from what the Midianites were doing. When Jephthah looked at the trouble that was coming from the field, that stuff did not separate them from loving God. Just because a little trouble was coming through, because the sword was coming through. We just sat back and read about that when he said, he that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. Did Hezekiah and Jehoshaphat have any fear that turned them from the love of God when that came? Because a little trouble came. See, some of you niggas have a little trouble, ain't even nobody coming with no sword. You like it here, man, look here. I don't know about this right here now. It's a little too tough for me. Matthew 13 again. Matthew 13 and 22. He said, he also that receives seed among the thorns is he that hear the word, and the care of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, choke the word, and he become unfruitful. Hosea chapter 10, verse 12. That's what a lot of y'all problem is. That stuff outside, that stuff of the cares of this world, that stuff choke you off. You be so concerned about that means you can't die. You ain't going to bring forth no fruit. It's going to be impossible for you to do it. Hosea chapter 10, verse 12. Make it 11. Make it 10. Hosea 10 and 10. It is in my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered together against them, when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. And Ephraim is as a heifer that is taught, and love to tread out the corn. But I passed over upon her fair neck. I will make Ephraim to ride, Judah shall plow, and Jacob shall break his clods. Sow to yourselves in righteousness, and reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground. For it is time to seek Yah till he come and rain righteousness upon you. You have plowed wickedness, you have reaped iniquity, you have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou did trust in thy way, and the multitude of thy mighty men. See, when that trust for deceitfulness of riches come through, that's because you trusted in your way. You actually trust your way can get it done. Then you try to wrap the Lord's way around it. But look at one of the things he said. It's my desire that I should chastise them. Look at Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5. Hold this Hosea chapter 10 code coming right by. Actually, you sit back and you look at this chastisement, and the first thing we looked at is that fear. That would actually teach you that obedience and to have that love and respect for your master. You know what I'm saying? After we look at that, I suppose Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 7 would be sufficient as well. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5 first. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speak unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yah, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom Yah love he chasten, and scourge every son whom he received. If you endure chastening, Elohim deal with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasten not? But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. And what the law say about a bastard?
Live.
He ain't getting in. You're not getting in. You know, a lot of people love to read that bastard. That's man miser. That's mixed seed. That'll have a better brain than that. A bastard is an illegitimate son. If you are a sinner, you are an illegitimate son. That means there's no way you can enter into the body of the Messiah, because he said, abide in me and I in you. So if you abide in the Son, what would that make you? Because you would be conformed to the image of the Son. So if you don't take the same chastisement, because he says, it's in my desire to chastise them. The book say, blessed is thou whom thou chasten out of thy law. Blessed is whom you chasten out of thy Torah, out of thy word. Or blessed is him whom you chasten by your Son. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit back and look at that. That means the word is for chastening. The Lord said, as many as I love, I chasten and rebuke. Be therefore zealous and repent. So it's his desire to correct you with his word, which what we were referencing when the people were offended in the wilderness, because he said, I humbled you and suffered thee to hunger, that you might realize you don't live by bread alone, but every word that come out my mouth, that therefore you might learn that obedience and to have that love, reverence, and respect for me, which would be the first evidence that the word fell in your heart and died, because you would love me, knowing that I loved you. See, we're going to look at that in a moment. Hold on. Furthermore, we have fathers after our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For truly, for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure. But he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his kodesh. Now no chastening for the present seemed to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward, it yield the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them that are exercised thereby. Now we sit back and look at the Son was chastened. So what is that peaceable fruit of righteousness that he was able to become after it was exercised upon him when he went in the grave and rose? Because it said Israel was kodesh to Yah, the first fruits of his increase. We just sat back and looked at on first fruit, knowing this here because we done dealt with it in the past. That's why we didn't rehash it. We know Yahshua first fruit of the dead, right? Well, let's look at that in Colossians chapter 1 just to make sure he's first fruit of the dead. Colossians chapter 1 about verse 7. Jordan. No one wants to hear it, please. So you're going to give me a smirk, huh? I elbow babies too. You know the dusty road bionic elbow? You ever seen it? Somebody show it to him so he know what it look like. Who in here know what it look like? When you do this like this here, then when you finish the road, you turn, pop! Try to hit it right down the crown of the head.
Step forward with it.
You know what I'm saying? Just don't want to have a body like Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, he is. 1 and 16. 17 actually. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. He is the head of the body, the synagogue, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence. Because we know 1 Corinthians 15 tells us he the first fruit. He the first fruit of his increase. He the first son of God, and then through that fruit that was manifested, then there should be an increase of fruit, right? Come on back to Hosea chapter 10. Oh, you all right up there? Hosea 10. You look like you want to fight or something?
Lil, come sit down.
You want to fight?
I'm gonna tell you no more.
You want to fight? You don't want to fight? Yeah, you fought that toy. That toy won. Oh, count to 4 then. Or count to 5 then. He said, screw 13 or 14.
Good job, baby.
Hey, go ahead and roll out. He said, I ain't worried about 15 and 14 and 15. Screw all that there. Let's get to it. So he said, now, mama, give me $20 then since I counted 20. All right, Casey, it's all right. We appreciate you, though. You rolling. I see you. I'm talking about he did it smooth, too, like this. I'm like, okay, when he gonna stop? He kept on going. So now we sit back and look at that. The people shall be gathered against them when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. Y'all know when the people were gathered against him, right? I want y'all to sit back and look. We'll tie this into another fruit of the Spirit while we looking at love. You know what fruit of the Spirit I'm going to look at? I talked to y'all about it last night. What other fruit would that be? Let me see who think what other fruit that be. I told you about it last night, didn't I? We working on love. So what's the other one we going to sit back and look at?
Sit back.
Joy.
I was going to say that too.
And we know from Nehemiah 4, what is joy?
Peace.
What did the book of Nehemiah say about joy?
Who got the song?
But let's look at Nehemiah chapter 4 then. Probably about verse 9. We'll tie this joy in a couple of ways. I'm going to tell you something. We see what that is. Because they don't say the word I'm looking for specifically. But we're going to take it and tie it into this here. Because joy comes through this. We'll deal with two of them two ways. We'll knock it out the box two ways. Nehemiah 4 verse 9. Let me see that word.
Yeah, sit down.
Look at the book of
Yeah,
Ezra.
ain't gonna be me and you.
Yeah, that's the book of Ezra 8 and 10, I believe. I mean Nehemiah 8 and 10. I'm sorry. I'll start at verse 9. And Nehemiah, which is Tersasha, and Ezra the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, and to all the people, said unto all the people, this day is Kodesh unto Yah your God. Mourn not, nor weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, drink the sweet, send portions unto them, for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is Kodesh unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of Yah is your strength. Now we still working on love, but it came to mind that the joy of Yah is your strength. Let's look at somebody who had the joy of Yah and that was his strength. 2 Samuel chapter 23. I know some of y'all, what we finna read in 2 Samuel 23, they probably told y'all about this in the church house all the time. Probably had you a nigga in there dancing just like it. 2 Samuel 23. About verse 10. I was just looking at, what that was. What they call that thing on, I ain't what that thing come on every Friday on Spike, man. I look at it all the time. What is it, Gangland? That's what it called. You know what I'm talking about. You be looking at it too.
You got lots of
No, I'm talking about that stuff when they be talking about all them gangs. They run the same episode every week.
yeah, things like games home.
You know what I'm talking about? Something like, no, I think it might be. But man, they showed some black woman who used to be in the Crips. She running up and down the aisle, dancing, doing all this stuff with her hands in there, titties everywhere. I'm talking about looked like 3 big bowls of sour grease. Ain't had no business running around. Why that lady was built nasty? You know what I'm talking about? Just Lord. I'm talking about she took all her clothes off. You'd be like this here. I'm offended. You know what I'm saying? I'm offended. Straight up. I ain't lying. So they said, I know this nigga all the time say stuff like that. I'm offended. What am I gonna do with this? I can't do nothing with it. Jordan, like I said, I can't do nothing with it either. I don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling the truth. Each day on. I can't do nothing with it. You know what I'm talking about? 2 Samuel 23 and 10. Yeah, I'm gonna walk away. Just like Kenny Rogers said, you gotta know when to hold him, you gotta know when to fold him, you gotta know when to walk away, you gotta know when to run. While you sitting at the table, I counted it. I'm good. I'm folded. I turned my hand in. You know what I'm saying? He said, he arose and smote the Philistines. Well, look at verse 8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. Tashemite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adonu the Ezonite. He lifted up his spear against 800, whom he slew at one time. After that was Eleazar the son of Dodo, the Ahoite, one of the 3 mighty men with David. And when they defied the Philistines that were gathered together to battle, the men of Israel were going away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary. And his hand clave unto the sword, and Yahweh wrought a great victory that day. And the people returned after him only to spoil. And after him was Shamgar the son of Agi the Hararite. The Philistines were gathered together into a troop, where was a piece of ground full of lentils, and the people fled from the Philistines. But he stood in the midst of the ground, and defended it, and slew the Philistines, and Yah wrought a great victory. And 3 of the 30 chiefs went down and came to David in the harvest time unto the cave of Adullam, and the troop of the Philistines pitched in the valley of Rephaim. Oh, that was the wrong thing. It's all right. And David was in the hold of the garrison of the Philistines, was in Bethlehem. And David longed and said, "Oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." These 3 mighty men brake through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out on the Yah. And he said, "Be it far from me, O Yah, that I should do this. It's not this the blood of men that went into jeopardy of their lives. Therefore he would not drink it." These things did these 3 mighty men. Do you notice 2 things that we sat back and looked at? 3 things that actually came out of what we just looked at right there. This wasn't the thing I had in mind. I got to go back and come to my mind in a minute. What's the 3 things you sat back and looked at that you can point out what you looked at? Obviously, one would be that well of Bethlehem in the midst of the city, right? He said he longed for a little drink of that water. He said it was by the gate. Then there was another thing in there. He said they stood and they came to David in what time? When they came to David, at what time? Harvest time. And what was the other thing that said they stood in the midst of the ground and defended it? And it said Yah wrote a great victory that day. Y'all calm down. What you could gather out of that? In the midst of the ground, a great victory comes. It's harvest time. I would so love a little bit of water from that well in Bethlehem. Just a little bit of water. Go ahead. Yeah, but go ahead. I hear you.
When we got pierced by the Spirit, the water came out.
We got pierced by that Spirit. That blood and water came out that well of Bethlehem. I sure would like a drink. And also what Golda just said, all those that thirst, let them come unto me and drink. Remember now, we just sit back and look at that tree was in the midst of the garden, right? It had to be defended. He said when that tree stood, he said that he stood in the midst of that ground, he defended it. And he wrought a great victory. Let's look at Romans chapter 7 and verse 21. It'll come to my mind another part. I want that part. I know what it says. Because that woman got totally hot with David behind his hip. Romans 7:20. Y'all know what part I'm talking about, where that woman got real hot with David? Y'all know what David was doing that had her mad?
Dance.
He was dancing. You know why he was dancing? You know why he was dancing? Because he was happy. I remember that. That's what I went there for, but he gave us something else. That came to my mind, and that wasn't what I wanted. Romans 7:20. We'll break it down to verse 22. Romans 7:22. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I saw another law in my members warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into the captivity of the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank God through Yahshua HaMashiach our Lord. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh the law of sin. You notice that it say David, his inward man, say, I'm yearning for some water out that well from Bethlehem. I sure would like it. You know what I'm saying? I sure would like a drink. Ain't that what he said? I sure would like a drink. But he said these men jeopardized their life for it, so I wouldn't even take it. He said he poured it out on the Yah. So what did Messiah end up doing? He poured that water out on the Yah. These men jeopardized their life for this. Jeopardize their life. You know what that also means? Just because you want something and somebody put themselves in danger or risk to get it because they heard you say it, don't mean you got to take it. See, you know that actually David actually showed one of the fruits of the Spirit with that. You know which one he showed? Which one you think he showed? What you think?
Patience.
Not just faith in that instance. He actually showed meekness or humility. I desire to have that. These men risked their life for it, but instead of me receiving it, I'll pour it out to God. Because I'm sitting back looking at, he actually did the selfless thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's come from meekness or humility, because that's what he would. I'm not going to think about myself. These men almost risked their life for me for some water. So instead of me drinking this water, knowing these men haphazard their life on my behalf, I'll give it to God instead and offer it to him. See, that's humility. That's a man who humbled himself under God. You know what I'm talking about? Say he a man after his own heart. Say, I can't take that. You risked your life for it. You know what I'm saying? You risked your life for it. You know how many niggas be like, sure, I sure will take that glass. You know what I'm talking about? You got to sit back and look at that. That's meekness. That's one of the fruits of the Spirit. This is a man who was a man after Yah's own heart, right? So guess what that man, guess what he's sitting back telling them? Even though I'm over you, I didn't come for you to serve me. I came to serve you. So since you came and did that right here, it's only right I pour it out, because I can't have you risk your life on my behalf. I did something to think about. Let me see what that is, what David was dancing. Come on around here first, Sam. Remember. Oh, thank the Lord. Remember where that thing is. Yes, Kingston. What you want now? Yeah.
Zoom, zoom.
You want to go zoom, zoom?
Zoom.
No, I won't do that. That kind of, oh no. Oh no. 2 Samuel chapter 6. About verse 12. Yeah. When we go to go-kart track one day, I'll see how much it costs. Probably too much money. I don't know. Them go-karts might go too fast for you, boy. I heard them things go about 50 miles an hour.
Let me see.
No, I mean, I looked on their webpage. I think that's what they said. They get up to about 50. They ain't had no price on it, though. It can't be too much.
Autobahn.
Autobahn. Over there by the hotel. Over there off JTB's.
That was Monica's over there. I used to work for.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Autobahn indoor go-kart speedway, man. Super fast go-karts, man. It's open like from 10 to 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, that means fast. They might be too fast for Kingston.
They ain't too fast for me.
No, they don't go that fast.
I'll go about probably 15.
Yeah, these things here supposed to go up to 50. Yeah, we go out there one day. All right, 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 12.
Look.
Now, you know, before this going on is they were bringing the Ark of God out. What ended up happening, somebody touched it and they died because they touched it after the due order. And they were wondering how they were going to get it in. And the house that they placed it in, Yah ended up blessing it. It say in verse 12 of 2 Samuel chapter 6, it was told King David, saying, Yah have blessed the house of Obed-Edom, and all that pertain unto him, because of the ark of God. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom into the city of David with gladness. And when they had bare the ark of Yah, had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed oxen and fatling. David danced before Yah with all his might, and David was girded with a linen ephod. See, that's what these niggas turn around and see. You see, you can have your head preaching, because David had a linen ephod on. Didn't say he was preaching, didn't say he was praying. He was dancing. There's a difference, you stupid nigga. You just seen he had something on his head, and you automatically had tried to tie it into what you wanted it to be. That's what they do now. If any of you ever dealt with dudes and you say, man, you ain't got no business with nothing on your head praying or prophesying, they say David had on the linen ephod, but he was dancing though. That's what it's saying. He was dancing though. Listen to what it says. That's all it says. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of Yah with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet. And the ark of Yah came into the city of David. Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through the window and saw King David leaping and dancing before Yah, and she despised him in her heart. They brought in the ark of Yah and set it in his place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before Yah. And as soon as David made an offering, end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yah hosts. And he dealt among all people, even as among the whole multitude of Israel. Listen what he said. As well as to the women, as men, took every one a cake of bread, a good piece of flesh, and a flagon of wine. So all the people departed, every one to his house. To the men and the women. What you think? What you sit back and you get out of that? Say he took a good piece of cake, a good piece of flesh, a flagon of wine, gave it to everybody. Everybody went to their house. That man's sacrifice. But guess what? He dancing before y'all because they were joyful. And ain't that funny? Even though it wasn't no women with him on Passover, that after they ate that cake and drunk that wine and ate that flesh, so to speak, because they ate that piece of cake and bread, they went and sang a hymn. We just looked at the other day. They went and sang a hymn, right? Y'all do know. You do know that's written in the book of Psalms, right? That I'll sing that praises to thy name in the midst of the great congregation. Y'all know what that's at? In the book of Psalms, y'all know what that's at? Hold that Psalm chapter 40. It's mentioned in Hebrews chapter 2, verse 13. I guess I have to show you where it's at. See, that's the joy of Yah. We just read on Wednesday in Colossians, say, sing spiritual songs, make a melody in your heart to Yah. Because that'll be joy of Yah. The way you say the book always tell you, do what? Make a joyful noise before Yah. See, if you got actual joy in Yah and rejoicing in Yah and pleasure in Yah, then guess what that means? That's evidence. If you joyful in something, that means you appreciate it, you love it, it's your essence, it's what brings happiness to your soul. You know what I'm talking about? See, like that nigga right there? See, cake bring happiness to her. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She said not chocolate cake. She's like, who? Warm bread? We was talking, we want to fall off the wagon. Well, I done heard her talk about bread. All you hear is this. I'm telling you. You go to talk about warm bread. You don't even hear nothing else. You go to talk about the bread. This thing, you know, all words stop. You just hear. I don't know what you laughing for, because everything get out of you. Ain't even no warm bread, just food. What kind of food? I don't care.
Dog food.
He threw you under the bus on that one. I ain't throw you under the bus. I ain't say you around here eating no alpo. I ain't gonna say that.
Niggas said killers and bits.
You just happy you get hot some little meal.
No, I'm straight up. One of them killers.
This here. It's all right. They say, we just gonna leave that one alone. Psalm chapter 40. Let's see that. Verse 9. What's that? Psalm 22. Psalm 40 and 9. Let me see. That's what I want. It might be Psalm 22 that I want. All right, y'all too. All right, y'all too. And no, I'm sorry, Psalms 22 and about 20. Make it 16. Because we were looking at Hosea chapter 10, which you can still hold along with Jeremiah chapter 2. We was looking in that, and we were seeing something about they gathered together against me and bound me. For dogs have compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones. They look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them and cast lots upon my vesture. Be not thou far from me, O Yah, O my strength. Haste thee to help me. So if Yah was his strength, that means Yah would be his joy then. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you where the Messiah actually rejoiced in Yah himself. We'll see that in a minute. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorn. Who else got saved from a lion's mouth? And the joy in Yah was his strength too, and what he was dealing with too, right? We'll look at that too. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. And we already looked the other day in Matthew 26, after they drunk that food, ate the food and drunk the cup, what did they do? They went and sung a hymn, right? So that means he praised them in the midst of the congregation, in the midst of his brethren. So I mean, guess what that mean then? That he showed the joy of Yah. That was his strength to continue on to get ready to go do what he was finna go do. Because what was happening? He finna get ready to go die. You know what I'm talking about? Why do you think he sent the angel to strengthen him? So if he sent the angel to strengthen him, it's two things in that book say give you strength. Joy is one of them. What's the other? Huh?
I want to say understanding.
Isaiah 26:3. I know I ain't showed it to you for a while. I used to hammer this home a whole bunch about 3-4 years ago because you had to understand this here. I ain't talking about that fake where he's staying. I'm talking about that real stuff right here, man. We talking about that real stuff. Isaiah 26:3. Make it one. Work our way to it. Listen what he say. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will God appoint for walls and bulwarks. Meaning that, you know, walls, bulwarks, that's the thing, that's the gates that cover the city, right? Remember how we look at Daniel, he said the wall will be rebuilt in troublous times. So he talking about the sun being protection. He said in the name of Yah, there's refuge. Open ye the gates that the righteous nation which keep the truth may enter in. Thou will keep him in perfect peace. Because peace is one of the fruits of the Spirit too. Whose mind is stayed on thee. Because he trusts in thee. Trust ye in Yah forever. For Yah is everlasting strength. That's what he said. You see what that is? So what's the two things that show strength? Trust in God. What was Yahshua's strength? It was his trust in God, right? Let's go to Numbers chapter 15 then. I'm sorry, Judges. Now we want to talk about Samson. Saying Sheila ain't fail either. Boy, you gonna sneeze all the way over here. Make it 16. Numbers chapter 16.
Numbers or Judges?
I'm sorry, Judges 16. Number 16 and 4. Judges 16 and 4. I don't know why the book of Numbers keep coming in my head. We just looked at it the other day. Leave them pampers alone, Tizzy, listen. You ain't make no poop? Thank you. And it came to pass afterwards that he loved a woman in the valley of Zorak, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him and see where his great strength lie. By what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. We will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lie, and whereof thou might be bound to afflict thee. So they want to know, where does his strength come from? Let's see what he told them. Verse 15. And she said unto him, how can thou say I love thee, when thy heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and have not told me wherein thy great strength lie. It came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there have not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like any other man. Now what do Hebrews tell you? You got them locks. See, them locks is your strength. See, Samson's strength was his lock. You got to be utterly stupid. The man told you what his strength was. What he told you his strength was? He was a Nazarite. And you know what a Nazarite is? That's someone sanctified unto Yah. They have separated themselves unto God. If you separated yourself unto God, that means you had to have a faith and trust in God to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't the locks that made him strong. It was his faith and joy in Yah that made him strong. But then it's, you know what I'm saying? But look what he said. When he cut off his locks, he was uncovered then. What did we read in Isaiah 47 about being uncovered? He said, if you cut these locks off, I'll be like any other man. What did we read about that in Isaiah 47 last night? Come down, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit in the dust, but not on the throne. Say, I'll uncover your legs, and your nakedness and your shame shall appear. So Philippians 2 and 5 then. You hold judges now. Philippians 2 and 5 then. Let this mind be in you, which also is in the Messiah Yahshua, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. So when he came back and he was uncovered to become a man, then that's what he didn't have that great strength. You know what I'm talking about? Say he was made in the likeness of men. That means he was just like everybody else. Meaning that it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, and he was tempted like as we are, yet without sin, that he might be a faithful and merciful high priest. Look what else he say about it. And being found fashioned as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. You sit back and you look at it. Oh, Lizzie, don't do it, Lizzie. Don't do it, Lizzie. Don't do it, Lizzie. Good work, Lizzie. Good work. Good balance. Good balance. So you sit back and look at it. When he said if he be shaven, then he would be as any other man. Meaning, if I let you shave me, I'm humbling myself. Because basically, when your vow was over and you cut your lock, that was a sign of humility that you were humbling yourself before y'all. My vow is over. Now let me make this offering. Because sacrifices is a sign of humility that you offering something to Yah. Which is again showing another fruit of the Spirit is humbling yourself before God. This man said, I'll become like any other man. It says that the heir differeth nothing from a servant, even though he be heir of all. And that the Messiah, being made born of a woman under the law, came to redeem us from the things written in the law, that we could receive adoption to become sons. So you actually seeing that Samson's great strength didn't come from having locks in his head. It came from the trust and joy that he had in Yah. That's where his strength came from. It's just this woman weird him. He said, I went ahead and told him all that was in my heart. The same way they was wearying the Messiah. Tell us if you be the Messiah, the Son of God, or not. He went ahead and told him. You know what I'm saying? And what happened to him after he told him? They killed him. What had to happen to Samson after he told her? They killed him. Come on back to Judges 16. After we finish Judges 16, we'll get Matthew 11. You can see the Messiah himself showing forth joy. So we in verse 18. Say, when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once. He hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. As you already know, because we already read it, say Judas knew always the guard and that where the Lord was going. After they gave Judas that money, he came up and said, come on and get him. I know where he be at. She said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he woke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake myself. He wist not that Yah was departed from him. My God, why have you forsaken me? And the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters and brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. So when we come on around here to verse 25, y'all already know what this stuff is. We done went through it before. It came to pass when their hearts were merry, they said, call for Samson that he may make us sport. They called for Samson out of the prison house. He made them sport. They set him between the pillars. Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house stands, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld Samson, while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto Yah and said, O Lord Elohim, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, that I may be once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, one with his right hand, the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the... Leave it alone, Lizzie. Get away from it.
Come on, Liz.
Don't think about it, Lizzie. Just move slow.
Come on, Liz. Come on.
She finna cry. Here it come. Look at the face. Look at the face. Come here, Tizzy Lizzie. Lizzie crazy. This is like this here. She from the crowd. She waited on it too. She crazy, man. She been hanging around you too much. Yeah. Yeah, I know it. So it says, Samson said, let me die with the Philistines after he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the lords, upon the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. You know, the Messiah said, whoever this stone fall upon, it'll grind him to powder. Just like the stones of that house fell on them people. Do you think the Messiah killed more people in his death or in his life? How did the Messiah slay more people in his death than in his life? How many people did the Messiah slay when he was living? None. Not now. But when the people stood up in his death, because he said he bowed his head and then he died, right? Took them down. And it was his joy and his trust in y'all that was his strength to be able to do it, because he said, pray thee, I pray thee, strengthen me this one time. So that means he had to have a trust in God for that to happen.
And the angel came down strengthening him.
That ain't got nothing to do with no, that's saying that ain't got nothing to do with no hair growing on his head. But how did he slay more people? How did the Messiah kill more people in his death than in his life?
Come sit down.
Because we got to die like him.
Yeah. He's a witness again.
We can look at it two ways, but you got to look at it. This is enemies. These are people who came to kill him. We're not talking about on the spiritual aspect. When the people came to kill him, they said, man, saw Pilate say, man, I washed my hand in this man's blood. They say, let his blood be on our children's children. That means all the people died that day. And their generation after. So that means in his death, he killed more people than when he was alive. Because he was looking to kill the old man with the word. You know what I'm talking about? But he actually took men out. You got to remember, when he died, he got his left hand and then his right hand on these pillars. And he bowed his head. He brought the house down. Remember, he said, Matthew 22. We got to make sure that house don't fall on us. The only way he could be able to do that, it was the joy of Yah. You got to realize it would only be the joy of Yah which made the Lord get up there on that tree in the first place and even do that. It's got to be the love of Yah to make him get up there and do that in the first place. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. That man said, don't no man take my life. I lay it down to myself, and I got power to pick it up again. That means I want to do this. Greater love had no man than this, that a man lay a life down for a friend. He's showing the fruit of the Spirit right there. Not only do I love God, but I love my brother. I'm willing to die for him. Then you turn around, you seeing Samson, you seeing David showing the joy of Yah. Let me look at Matthew 11:27 first. Show the Lord doing the same thing. I'm sorry, Matthew 11:24. Make it 25. My apologies. You know, in another place it say he rejoiced in spirit when he spoke these words, right? I think it might be in Luke. It stated that he rejoiced in spirit when he spoke these words. He said, at that time, Yahshua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for it seemed good in thy sight. See, it rejoiced the Son to sit back and even know that the mysteries and the revelation of God, he hid it from the wise, old smarty-art niggas, and gave it to children. Gave it to babes. That rejoiced his heart. You know what I'm talking about? See, he's seeing the joy of Yah from the Messiah in two different ways. When they sung that hymn and when he rejoiced in spirit, knowing because he had just went off on these people that they had not believed that he was the one to redeem them. So he rejoiced in the harlots and the publicans and all those others who these people looked down upon. He rejoiced that the Father saw fit to let them get it. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he say, blessed are your eyes for you see, and your ears that they hear, for many people have sought to hear the thing that you've seen and hear and have not heard. You know what I'm talking about? That's why we sat back and looked at Wednesday. Don't neglect it. Don't neglect it. What I wanted after that? It'll come back to my mind in a minute. Come on over here to Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7. Kingston? 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 Your name is Kingston? He be going hard, boy. I'm talking about, I know in his mind, everything clear.
What?
He'll have a full conversation. After you talk to him, you know what I'm saying? Come all together, you gonna be sitting there looking at, is this nigga 3 or 33? Cause sometimes when he be talking about dead serious, cause T seen it yesterday, that nigga cock his head a little bit and look at you like this here, like, so you ain't feeling what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about in the mouth. I'm for real though. He cock his head to the side a little bit like, so you ain't understand what I'm talking about. He say, who in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard and that he feared. Though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. Which is going back to what we were talking about, looking at when they came out of that Red Sea, that was supposed to be a symbolizing of death and rebirth. But the difference was before they went in the Red Sea, Israel suffered nothing. All them plagues fell on Egypt, didn't fall on them. They didn't have no trouble. So they had a reverse of what usually happens before the baptism. Usually come after it is the suffering. You know what I'm talking about? It's the suffering. So he said, I suffered thee to hunger. I humbled thee to get you to the point where you would look and you would love and respect and reverence me. You know what I'm talking about? That's only going to come through actually dying to your own desires. That's why the Messiah told you the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I mean, you're going to have to get rid of one. Which one you going to get rid of? He said, though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered, which what he was trying to do to us in the wilderness. Because remember, he said the wilderness was a land not sown. Who that is standing out there? White man. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all those that obey him. You know what I'm saying? And when we sit back and you turn around and look at it, who was the only ones that were led by Joshua to enter into the land? All those that obeyed. Because all those that disobeyed, their carcasses fell in the wilderness, didn't they? All of them fell. Because they didn't have a joy in y'all. They didn't have a trust in y'all. All these things coming in, choking this stuff off. Because even that things about the cares and affairs of this life, choking off the word, not bringing forth no fruit, take us right back to the wilderness. All they were looking at is the things that they had while they were in bondage. You know what I'm saying? If your mind, before we looked at this the other day in Philippians chapter 3, forgetting those things that are behind and looking at those things that are ahead. You know what I'm saying? When you steady worrying about the things of this life and what's behind you, you're not going to be able to see what's in front of you. And if you can't see what's in front of you, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to perish like them. You're going to murmur and complain. You'll never have a joy, y'all. That means you'll never have that peace. Because we know the book say there's no peace for the wicked, right? Ain't no rest for them. So in order for you to get that peace, that means you will have to die. All these things are taught. John chapter 12, verse 24. Let's just start going here and get to the root of it before we come back to finish Matthew 13. You all right over there, Jim Dandy? He's A-okay. John 12 and 23. Delta finds that very humorous. That name. He just wants you to know that. I think Langston went to the bathroom.
Wasn't he told him to get off his show?
That nigga say he had a hot pocket on him. I don't know where he came up with that one from. That nigga said a hot pocket. I said, man, what that nigga talking about? A hot pocket. That nigga say 2.5 minutes in the microwave, he ready to go. Remember them hot pockets give you high blood pressure.
Hey, we told that nigga Delta last night. Said that nigga goes out really quick.
He say, Delta say what kind of hot pocket it is.
Oh man, I don't know. A big.
You say, is it a lean pocket or a regular?
Now, there ain't no lean pocket on this toe. It was like a stuffed calzone.
I ain't had one of them in a long time, but that there stream of high cholesterol and death, boy.
What?
A calzone.
They got all that cheese sitting there and grease.
Just screamed that. They were good while they lasted, though. They were good while they lasted. John 12 and 23. Yahshua answered them, saying, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be glorified. Truly, truly, I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abide alone, but if it die, it bring forth much fruit. Now, we sat back and we looked at something, right? Let's begin the process of looking at who abided alone. and died and brought forth some fruit. I'm talking about out of the scriptures though. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Who abided alone, but then they died and brought forth much fruit? Anybody? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Who abided alone and died and brought forth much fruit? Anybody got it? Who?
Gonna throw something out there.
Sam-
Joseph.
Who?
Joseph.
Joseph. You say Joseph. He say Samson. You gonna say somebody? Joseph. Y'all show.
Wait, Samson did it. Yeah.
Who abided alone and died and brought forth much fruit?
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 2 verse 20.
Hey, it was Adam.
Yeah, well, so,
So was Adam.
Oh, yeah.
y'all want to go back there. Pick somebody else. Yeah, let's go back there.
I mean, that was easy money though.
We try to think of other niggas. Yeah.
I'm saying that was easy money though. Genesis 2 and 20.
Abraham, that's why I really couldn't say.
I'm saying that was easy money. None of them men abided alone. Abraham didn't abide alone. He did not abide alone, nor did he go into deep sleep.
He did go to sleep.
He said died alone, but he didn't abide alone though. Sarah was there.
Joseph did though.
He didn't abide alone either. There was 2 men in the prison house with
He
him.
said when he went to the well.
But he still didn't abide alone because his brothers threw him in the well.
Yeah, he's going on in there.
You know what I'm talking about? Listen what I'm talking about. He said, except the corn of wheat fall in the ground and abide alone, but if it die, it bring forth much fruit,
Made
right?
his fox think he was dead. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Let's sit back and look at it. And Adam gave names to all cattle and to the fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. So that means he abided alone. And guess what Adam wore? He was a seed that came out the ground, right? He was a seed that fell in the ground because he was made of the dust of the earth, right? He abided alone. So there was no helpmeet found for him. He was alone. Let's see what happened. And Yah caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, so he died. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yah had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. Now when we sit back and we come over here to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 29, let's go ahead and get this tree that we started on last week. We're going to finish. This nigga here got over here egg salad.
We're talking about the fire.
That's egg salad for real.
It's eggs in it.
They say, Sharon said, which one of you niggas farted?
You talking about the
Sharon back there pinching his nose. This stinky booty nigga over here.
Ain't nobody far yet.
You going to?
That nigga
That's when Breon used to be like, that nigga smell like sour eggs. Boy, they get mad somebody mess around and put a picture up when them niggas in middle school. That nigga Breon was small. Nigga forgot them days we were that small. With his head cocked to the side.
I see Big Joe in the picture.
Yeah, Big Joe in there. Nick in there. That's crazy. The nigga Kawan dead. You know what I'm saying? Harlan in there. Nigga forgot how small the nigga was. Breon, the only nigga posed different than everybody else. He turned to the side with his head cocked. I said, well, that nigga, that's crazy. Genesis 1 to 29. And God. I'm telling you, Sharon, you seen his face when I said, who got eggs? That nigga eating eggs salad. Sharon like, I'm glad to know. I thought that nigga pooted. That nigga say he done sprayed me by him. I'm telling, look at the body. Hold the body turn. What's going on with it? This is 1 to 29. And God said, behold, I've given you every herb-bearing seed. Y'all remember what we read in Psalm about the herb-bearing seed? Y'all remember what we read in Psalm about that long time ago? Psalm 104. I don't think nobody knows. I'm gonna say the baby can't be in there. How he taught that?
What? I knew that look.
I'm like, this here, what that nigga tossed the baby like a rag doll?
Trying to make him tough.
Like this here, that's a girl.
Yeah. She gonna be tough.
I'm talking about, shoot, we already got one tough little girl. We don't need another. Boy, Jordan hard as nails. Psalm 104:14. He said he caused the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of man. So old pothead nigga, guess what they look at? Well, you came in there like you went and made a stinking. How you walking in here smiling?
Boy, you beat me.
You know that's how you be looking when you let a good one out. Smiling, happy. Huh?
I rejoice in the Lord.
I knew.
Oh, okay, you also rejoice in that poop you let go too. It's all right. You were gone for a little minute. You ain't urinate.
I said it before I took it. Oh,
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with taking a good poop. Guess what? I stamp a good poop. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with a good poop now. How many of y'all done took a good poop? Well, I'm talking about, boy, you take a good poop, boy, you come up out there, you feel better. I'm talking about, you go to Smile, no, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? Shoot, boy, feel about 3 pounds lighter.
you ready to hoop?
Ooh, I feel better now.
Ready to go hoop?
Well, I'm messing around, boy, you be holding that stuff in your stomach, being a knot. Boy, you be like this, I remember that time, boy, me and Breon were walking, that nigga had to poop, that nigga went to running, grabbing his booty. And he said, I ain't gonna make it, running to Breon Boots house. He made it, though. Boy, you better be glad he made it. Nigga gonna climb, because all you done seen the feces coming down the leg. You can tell he had the runners off how you were running. You got some solid poop, you don't do nothing like that, though. He said, you gonna make it. Say, but you better get to running, nigga. I don't know what to tell you. How you know that nigga poop? That nigga want to put lotion on the leg. Who put lotion on the leg come from the bathroom? Hey, look here. I ain't ashamed, boy. Nigga know I poop. I am too. I tell you. Nigga, I just seen you try to rub down your shin. Real smooth, too. Ooh. That's how you know that was a good one. Boy, ain't no shame in a good poop. No.
Nigga, what are you doing with your leg?
So what? I ain't got no shame in it. I ain't got no shame in no good poop. Anybody know me know I'm talking about little muffin nail and what they used to get mad. They be like, this nigga announcing poops, but you just got finished taking a poop. I ain't saying you gonna shut the door, little man. So you know that herb for the service of man, they ain't talking about smoking no weed now. I would them niggas love the screen talking about the herb is for the service of man. But you think you go roll you a fat one. Listen what he say. That he may bring forth food out of the earth. Let's go back to Genesis 1:29 then. So he say the herb is to bring forth food out of the earth. He said except that seed fall in the ground, it abide alone. But if it die, bring forth more fruit. That seed fell in the ground and Adam, he abided alone. But when he fell in that deep sleep, he brought forth fruit because there came Eve. The Messiah did the same thing. Up there on the tree, abiding alone, they hit him in the side. He bring forth much fruit because he got that open womb to continually bring forth children. Just, that's it. Genesis 1:29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth. Every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed to you, it shall be meat. Remember, he said, he the vine. He bring fruit unto itself. That means that same seed that's in that to bring forth fruit is in him. That means you got to go through him. You can't go nowhere. So guess what that means you're going to have to do? Romans 6:1. Because we already know from Genesis 1:12, he the herb yielding seed after his kind, the tree yielding fruit after its kind. So in order for you to bear forth fruit, you're going to have to do what the son did, which is what? So how you going to have to talk about you got fruits of the spirit, you ain't died yet? Them Hebrew niggas be killing me. See, you got to have the fruits of the spirit, but he talking about he in the back room playing with himself. Who? They mess around with some of them Hebrew niggas, they'll tell you they got fruits of the spirit, and they tell you I just got finished whacking off. I just cussed a nigga out. I just smoked the fat dude. You know what I'm talking about? I heard a nigga say, yeah, man, you could commit adultery. He say, you know what I'm saying? You could commit it. He said, I'm married already. But he'll go sleep with a woman, then tell her, I can't marry you because I'm already married. But I got fruits of the spirit, though, even though I'm an adulterous whoremonger. I mean, nigga readily, openly admitted, yeah, man, I sleep with niggas with all women. And I got a wife. So what? And after he banged them women up a few times, he tell them, I can't marry you because I'm already married. So why did you even have sex with her? Oh, you already know he going to hell. He know it. That's why he don't care. He ain't got no problem with it. That's what happens when you commit sin long enough, you don't see no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Guess like this here. Just like if you want to smoke marijuana, guess what happens? Herb for the service of man. See, that's marijuana. It's many herbs. Is he talking about basil? You know what I'm saying? It many herbs, but you just see herb and you automatically see that's marijuana right there, bro.
Yeah, that's all you think.
That's what you want it to be. Just like my man was telling me, a brother, both of us know, he was like, man, he reading out Isaiah 41, he like, man, Paul letters deep, bro, they hard to understand. And he asked him, he said, my nigga, you want another wife? He was like, it wouldn't hurt. Nigga, he said, that's your flesh. Nigga, what you mean it wouldn't hurt? But you complain about the woman you got, and you want another one? But you want another. Say the one you got don't listen to you, don't do nothing you say, don't keep the word. So the remedy to that situation is, let me get two. So you know what's going to happen? You're going to pick another woman just like